Navy Doomsday plane fleet to almost double in size with new E-130Js. A much bigger fleet of smaller turboprop E-130Js is set to replace the smaller fleet of larger E-6B jets, but the Navy has also acknowledged risks. This is from the War Zone. All credit to them. Welcome back to Everything Weapons. Smash the like button, subscribe if you are new, and check out all of my social media platforms. We're on all platforms, guys, but let's get right into this news. So the U.S. Navy is planning to acquire 31 E-130J Phoenix II aircrafts to replace 16 E-6B Mercury planes now in service. This will nearly double the number of planes the service has configured to perform the Take Charge and Move Out mission, or TACOMO for short. So TACOMO, or TACAMO, however you want to say it, involves providing aerial command and control support for nuclear ballistic missile submarines, including the ability to send them orders to launch strikes while they are underwater submerged. Platforms assigned nuclear support missions like this are commonly called Doomsday planes. The total planned E-130J aircraft fleet size was included in a recently released Pentagon report. The so-called Modernized Selected Acquisition Report was produced as part of work on the U.S. military's proposed fiscal year 2027 budget and is dated April 21st of 2026 this year. The report also acknowledges risks to the program associated with operational availability, which the Government Accountability Office, or GAO, has previously highlighted publicly. Aviation Week was first to report on the new E-130J MSAR. In terms of the acquisition plan, the U.S. Navy currently expects to acquire and get 6 pre-production E-130Js to support the type's ongoing development, as well as 25 production examples. The service had only previously disclosed that it would be buying 6 aircraft as part of the development phase, and that the initial low-rate production run would comprise 3 to 6 additional planes. Whether some or all of the pre-production Phoenix IIs might ultimately be used operationally is unknown and not clear right now. The MSAR says the estimated program acquisition unit cost, which factors in research and development costs for all 31 E-130Js, was $732.8 million, just under $800 million. As of April, the average procurement unit cost for just the 25 production examples, which also does not include research and development costs, was pegged at $360.9 million each. The report also says that these PAUC and APUC figures are both lower by 3.29 and 2.64% respectively than the baseline estimates as of December 2024. As noted, the E-130Js, which are being converted from 4-engine turboprop C-130J-30 Hercules cargo planes, are set to replace the existing fleet of E-6Bs. The Mercury aircraft are based on the larger jet-engined Boeing 707 airliner. The E-6Bs first began entering service in an earlier E-6A configuration in 1989 and were some of the last 707-based planes ever produced. They were subsequently brought up to the current standard in the late 1990s and into the early 2000s and have received additional upgrades since then. The Mercury fleet currently also supports a U.S. Air Force nuclear mission set called the Airborne Command Post, and more commonly known by the nickname Looking Glass. That mission entails providing aerial command and control support to nuclear-capable bombers and silo-based Minuteman III intercontinental ballistic missiles. As part of this role, E-6Bs are equipped to initiate the launch of Minuteman IIIs while in flight, And overall, the April MSAR for the E-130J says the program is on track and executing to the acquisition program at baseline. However, the report also lists a risk associated with operational availability, but says that additional details can be found at the classified level. This is in line with concerns raised publicly by a GAO, a congressional watchdog, starting last year. So the C-130J aircraft, selected 4 years before E-130J's development start, may not meet operational availability requirements. The E-130J's technical risk assessment highlighted the complexity associated with integrating E-130J systems onto this aircraft. GAO warned in a report published last year in June 25, the Navy's technical risk assessment team expects the integration risks to translate to manufacturing issues given the potential deviation from standard components and the security environment required. So, generally speaking, aircraft assigned the DeCamo mission require a highly specialized and extremely reliable communications suite to ensure they can perform under what could be extremely challenging and difficult conditions. Each E-6B notably has the ability to reel out a 5-mile-long antenna to communicate with submerged submarines. The E-130J will have a very similar, if not identical, antenna system, hardening against electromagnetic pulses, or EMP pulses, which would be produced during the detonation of a nuclear warhead, which is another key requirement for Doomsday planes. There is no debate that the aging E-6Bs are becoming increasingly more challenging to operate and sustain. The Mercury fleet has been further strained over the years given the need to use operational aircraft to support training demands. The Navy is now utilizing a contractor-owned but government-operated Boeing 737NG airliner to support pilot training requirements. This follows an abortive plan to convert an ex-Royal Air Force E-3D Sentry Airborne Early Warning Control Aircraft, another Boeing 707 based type, into a TE-6B crew trainer, which came to a halt and was canceled. So to provide any gaps in DeCamo coverage, the Navy has also said it will phase out the E-6Bs only as the new E-130Js enter service, which means that Mercury aircraft will have to keep flying until the transition is deemed complete. The initial operational capability timeline for the Phoenix 2 is currently classified, but the April MSAR says initial operational test and evaluation is now set to start until June 2033 at the very earliest, which is quite a ways away. Completion of this is not automatically required for an IOC declaration. So when it comes to DeCamo modernization, the Navy is pressing ahead with its plans, which are set to result in a major increase in at least the total number of aircraft configured for this critical mission. As mentioned, despite the fleet size target, the E-130J is not set to take on the Looking Glass mission, at least currently. The Air Force is still in the very early stages of acquiring what is currently called the Looking Glass next to assume this role. Among the questions still to be answered, at least that we know of, how many total planes the service will need to meet those mission requirements. So the Air Force is also in the midst of a much larger modernization of its nuclear command and control architectures, work that is tied heavily to the much delayed LGM-35A Sentinel intercontinental ballistic missile program. But thank you guys very much for watching. Smash the like button, subscribe, especially if you're new. Most viewers don't even hit the sub button, so I'd really appreciate it. And type us a comment of what you thought about this episode down below. As always, you're watching Everything Weapons. Take a look at my older content. Lots of videos to binge watch similar to this one. And until next time, I will see you guys in my next video. Take care.